What's going on?
Me?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Good.
What are you doing?
I'm skimming.
What?
How are you doing with this?
What is that? Stop walking away from me.
It's a stream.
Okay, so why are you bouncing around all the way? You have any ID on you?
No.
Don't go anywhere. Alright, just relax.
Are you okay? Are you okay? I'm okay! I'm okay! Ah! Ah!
Stay down.
I'm okay! I'm okay! I'm okay!
Don't move.
Okay.
Do you understand?
No, I'm okay! I know. Help!
Stop moving!
I'm okay!
Don't you move, you understand?
Yeah. I need help.
Don't move.
I need help.
Don't stop moving.
Am I gonna go away?
Relax.
I'll breathe.
You are breathing.
Yeah. Okay, I'll clap and lay down. I'm okay.
Stop moving.
Am I gonna go away? Are you gonna go away?
Just relax.
What are you doing? Hey, what are you doing?
Just relax, okay?
Yeah.
Don't move. You're fine, okay? Don't move.
You won't leave me.
What's your name?
Connor.
Why are you acting like this, Connor?
Because I'm okay.
Stop moving.
No, time is up.
Relax. Who's this?
Diane.
He's fighting with me. What's going on? Do you know him? Okay.
Easy.
Okay. I'm waiting for another unit to show up, and then we're going to figure out what's going on, okay? He's fine. He's breathing. He just started.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I was just in a music lesson. He usually just walks around. Was he hurting somebody?
No, I was trying to talk to him. I wasn't sure what was going on. And then he started trying to back away from me and then kind of pull away from me when he seemed like he wanted to run away.
Connor. It's okay, babe.
He's scared.
It's
Am I
okay.
gonna be okay?
You're okay.
You okay, all right?
I'm sorry he scared you.
Because he's doing something with his hands or something in his hands.
Stimming.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's when you have autism. It's his nerves.
Okay,
Oh my god.
that's fine. All right. You going to relax?
Yeah.
Okay, what's her name?
Diane.
Okay,
It's okay, babes. Oh my god, his hand's turning white.
okay. Can you move?
Yeah.
Stay right there, okay?
Just stay, Connor. Don't move, baby.
Just stay calm, okay?
Yeah.
You see the string in his hand?
Yeah.
That's what he's
Yeah, but I don't
feeling.
know. But I don't know if it was like some type of drug or something, because I couldn't see what he was doing. Because as soon as he was doing it,
I know. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
He comes over here and plays while I'm in the music lesson.
Were you playing?
Relax. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have nothing on you, right?
No.
Okay.
He's only 14 years old.
Tell him to slow units down, please. Okay, relax, okay?
Yeah, I'll take a deep breath.
Okay.
Don't move, Connor, okay? Do me a favor, don't move. So you drove by and you saw him stimming and you thought he was on drugs?
A couple of times, yeah.
You don't know anything about autism, huh?
No.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm not in trouble.
No, you're not in trouble at all.
All right,
baby.
he has autism. Okay.
He's 14 years old.
Relax, okay?
He won't scare me.
No,
Okay.
You're okay. It's
good.
just like John McCure. Just like John McCure. Police officer like John McCure.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all. I just want to make sure he doesn't have nothing on. Hey, why don't you sit up, okay? Sit up. Ah, yeah, that's fine. Sit up. Can you sit up all the way? There you go. Stand on up for me, okay?
Yeah.
There you go. You don't have nothing else? Nothing on you? No. Okay. Here, sit next to her right now, okay? Do you have ID with you, ma'am?
Yes, I do. You're fine, babes. Just relax, okay? I'm sorry.
All right.
I was just in there making a new schedule for Deanna's music lesson.
Yeah, because I drove by a couple of times and he seemed fine until he started doing something with his hands, and then
He goes like this. It's called stimming. I'm sorry, you're not. If you knew about autism.
it's okay. And then when I was trying to identify him, it seemed like he wanted to run away from me. And
Well, because you scared him. Oh my God, you got.
what's his first name? Connor?
Connor.
Okay. What's his date of birth?
Local return. New state return. New state return. New state return. New local return. New state return. New state return. Your assigned call has been updated. New state return. New state return.
That's what I heard. Is this Mom? I work with you as well. Oh, yeah, over here?
I saw you.
She's in there right now?
Hey Diane, here's your ID. Just give me a few more minutes, okay? Have you dealt with him before? Okay. What? I'm still rolling.
Break you in half.
Huh?
Break you in half.
Your assigned
Persona
call has
boy,
been updated.
X-ray, 9680. Service 1491, 10-4.
So he has autism. So I drove by a few times and he seemed fine. And then he was doing something in his hand and like smelling it. And as soon as he was smelling it, it was like he was having like a miniature seizure while he was standing up. So it was this string that the aunt was telling me about. So when I went to approach him, yeah, it was a string. I guess he has autism, so the string, I don't know if it calms him down or whatever.
Where's your hands on him?
Because he started backing away from me when I was trying to identify him and try to figure out what's in his hand, and he slightly turned to try and take off, and I went to grab him, and I had hands behind his back so I could detain him and figure out what's going on. And as his hands were behind his back, then he started pulling away from me and trying to, so I never let go of him until we twirled around by the tree and he went down on the ground. I just held him there. I heard my radio go off, so I figured at least if the radio went off, I knew someone was going to come, so.
Service 1491 in the blind, negative 1029, 11 of 2017, on a 2005 Chevy pickup out of Avondale, 1547.
Hey. Hey, where are you at? Okay, well, I have work here, so I wasn't sure if you wanted me to talk to work or wait till you get here.
10-6, I have a negative contact.
Okay,
It's,
all right, bye.
Lane, almost all road.
So I drove by a couple of times, right? So I see him pacing from the bench to the corner, and he has something in his hand. Now we figure out it's a string, the black thing he has in his hand.
I guess autistic is like a loose string, right?
So when I was watching him, he seemed fine, and then he would hit it on his hand and smell it like he's trying to get whatever air from it. And as soon as he does that, he just, like, you know, just goes in like a brief PINELLAS, you know what I mean? Just gets like frozen there and just, you know, stretches out his arm. So I'm figuring he's inhaling some type of inhalant or something. So I drove by a few times, kept seeing him do this. So I came up, parked here. I tried talking to him. He seemed fine compared to when I saw him when he started trying to inhale whatever he was inhaling. And I was saying, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? He's like, nothing. And then he said something about stimming. So I'm like, well, what is that? I'm not, you know, I don't know if it's a drug thing, a medical thing. I don't know what he meant by that. And then I asked him, well, what's your name? And he starts backing up. I'm like, hey, don't back up from me. You know, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. He starts backing up some more. I went to grab his hand, and so I'm like, hey, just relax, just calm down. So when I went to detain him, put his hands behind his back, and as I start pulling out the handcuffs, he starts pulling away from me. So as soon as he starts pulling away from me, I still have a hold on him. So we're twirled around by the tree, and then we fell down on the ground, and then I kind of fell on top of him, and I just held him there because I heard my radio chip off. So I figured someone was coming, so I just held him there. He kept trying to move again a couple of times. I told him, hey, just relax, just calm down. I could feel how I grabbed him, and there was nothing, no cut off of anything. So, hey, just relax. What's your name? He told me his first name. That was pretty much it. Then the aunt came. The aunt said, oh, well, he has autism, blah, blah. So I'm like, hey, do you know her? He's like, yeah. So then I started backing off. I'm like, hey, just calm down a little bit, you know what I mean? So as soon as I started backing off on him, you know, he arrived. Made sure he didn't have any weapons or anything else on him. I had him sit with the aunt, and ID'd both of them, and that's pretty much where we're at right now.
Okay. All right. Well. Jeff's just kind of calm.
Hey. Yeah, Jeff was over there. So
You have a piece of paper that you can write.
Thank you.
Okay. Hang on.
Sure.
My sister Mia is 2.
Well, let me forget about my back pain for 3 minutes.
Okay. You get along with
Are
them?
you hurting?
Or do they irritate you?
No, very good along.
Okay. Well, my sisters irritate. My daughters irritate my boys, so I get it. Okay, perfect.
Sisters are made to irritate brothers.
They are.
He is such a good boy. Seriously, that's why I was just like, I'm so sorry.
No,
They
no,
said
I
you
don't
were
know what's
nice,
going
but
on.
You were yelling, so.
Oh, okay. Well, when we started falling on the ground, that's when I started yelling. But I just want to make sure that he was okay because, like I said, that string, I'm not familiar with it. So he seemed perfectly fine, but every time, like, he would hit his hand with it,
Right.
and then he would go like this, almost like he was trying to smell something. We have problems with some kids, you know, smelling inhalants, things like that, almost like gasoline, stuff like that.
You have one of those
So I wasn't sure if that's what was going on.
He likes his string. We go through a couple hundred of those strings. And sometimes it's our shoelaces, too.
Yeah.
So, stand up, babe. You're okay. You want to stand up? You're okay.
Bye.
All right, see you, Connor.
We
See you,
here,
Connor.
we here.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Take care, okay?
Yeah.
You see me around, make sure you say hi, okay?
Yeah. Just say hi.
It's Jeff, right?
Yeah.
It's Jeff.
All right?
So,
Thank you, guys.
I'm so
You live
sorry.
up
Okay,
here?
let me just talk to my
No,
boss real quick.
I live right on Jackrabbit Trail.
Oh, okay.
So, but we're here for the music because we go there.
Oh,
And then
okay.
we'll go to the park over.
You want to check with him real quick, see if he needed them to
So
stay or
we
if they
hear
could
it
go?
all the time. That's why it's just like, I'm just so blown
What school is
away.
he going to?
Oh, he's going to go to Millennium.
Oh, Millennium?
I work at Desert Edge.
Okay.
But we like the program they have for them at
Diane?
the Millennium.
I'm gonna see my friends at Millennium.
Yes, you
How
are
long have
there.
you worked at
They're
Desert
gonna
Edge?
be Terry Bennett and Brendan Song.
Almost 4 years.
Okay, because my boy Jordan was at Desert Edge.
What's your last name?
Lamadou.
What's your son's name?
Jordan. He was in the special needs class.
Right, with Andy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I bet if I saw him, I'd
You
recognize
probably
him.
would.
Because I would help them when they come up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Andrew is in his class. He's a stocky little guy.
I think so. I think I've heard him mention the name.
Everybody does Andrew. They get him all wild up. Do you know John McCure? He's a police officer in Goodyear.
If he worked at Desert Edge, probably
no,
Jordan
he's not
would
our school. He's
because
not
Jordan
our
was always
school.
mentioning the officers. That
Oh,
worked at
yeah,
the
we have
school.
two different
I told him if
officers.
there are any problems, you go to those guys, you talk to them because they'll help you out. So.
Right. Well, no hard feelings.
Yeah, no,
I tried to be calm. I saw you on him, and I was just like, okay.
Well, I wasn't hurting him. I was just trying to hold him until I had another person come. That's all.
Right.
But just hang tight. I'm just making sure
You
my boss is good.
panicked, so you had me panicked.
No.
You had that look on your face like you weren't sure what the heck was going on. Thanks, Jeff.
All right.
And I'll look forward because I'd love to get one of those for
As soon
Connor.
as I find out, I'll give you a call.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
But yeah, no, you had this look like, what the heck is going on here?
No, fine.
So, and then it just because you were checking him too, and I'm like, trust me, it's.
Hey, I'm very sorry.
No, it's fine, buddy.
Yeah.
It's okay. Next time you see me, just say hi.
Yeah.
Just say hi.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Officer
Grossman.
Grossman. Oh, that's an easy one. Grossman.
Austin Rose.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, take care. I'm sorry to cause you all this.
No. Like I said, just hang tight real quick so my boss.
Oh, do you need
That's all.
something?
I just want to make sure my boss doesn't need nothing from me at all.
Oh, okay. Well, you have my driver's license. It's
okay.
current. Oh gosh. Yeah, no, you Buckeye people know us for my divorce. That's for sure.
Not me.
No, have you been around very long?
Yeah, but I don't deal with home issues.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I don't think it's been over a year, so thank God. But my ex, my kids wouldn't go, so he'd call the police and make them come to force the kids to leave.
Okay. It's always a bad thing.
Oh, it's always, that's why I'm like, I do not want to have to deal with you guys. I try to be good. It's like, oh man.
Okay.
I just can't believe it. I'm just so sorry. I mean, I
No,
can't
it's fine.
imagine, you know, I guess, I mean, I can see when you showed up.
No, it's okay.
Probably better it was where you were in the position you were instead of when I saw you, if I saw you wrestling with him, then I'd have been like, ah!
Well, I was talking to him just like this, and he kept kind of getting, trying to back away from me and kind of almost looked like he wanted to run somewhere. You know?
Well, because he probably wanted to run into where I was.
Oh, no, it was in that direction over there.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because usually when we come, I'll sit on the bench there, but it's summertime and we're trying to switch now from summer schedule to school schedule, and I didn't think anything of it. So I was thought, I'll just walk out and see what Connor's doing, and I'm like, oh, that would
No,
be...
it's okay.
Yeah, but now I get to tell Mom and Dad.
Oh, it's all right.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you the boss?
Yeah, he's my boss.
Oh, okay.
How
I
you
just
doing?
see you walking up, not sure what you're looking like.
Is he okay?
Oh, he's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, he already
He's
talked
not
to the
injured?
officer. No, I mean, he just has the mark on his face, but...
Why don't you take a photo of that? Just
Sure.
All right.
Do you want to, is he okay with me taking this picture, or do you
Okay.
want to do it?
I'm gonna go tell Nathan.
Okay.
Diane.
Yeah, Here, you know what? How about I hold him, you can take it.
There you go.
Okay. I'm going to take a picture of your face, okay? Just hold still for me. You're such a good boy. You know I love you. Okay. And you just... Do you want the grass stain on his shirt, too?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. But...
Well,
Hey, Diane.
he's okay.
I go to Millennium High School and see Bernie Sloan.
Oh, he's fine.
Terry Bennett.
He's very flexible.
Okay.
So it was just a very odd situation, and you know, maybe you should, I mean, don't take this wrong way, but maybe
That's okay.
your officer should learn more about, you know, disabilities too.
Definitely. There's a training dealing with.
That's what Jeff was saying. Jeff said it was new to you guys and everything.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, if there's anything you could do, I'm gonna leave you my business card, and if anything come up, just give me a call, okay?
All right. I'll see how Mom and Dad act. I have to tell them. Thanks. It's just weird. Oh, you're Eric. Okay. Yeah, like I was telling him, he kind of here all the time, you know, and he walks him down the stairs, and he doesn't bother anybody. He usually stays away. That's why, too, he has to have, like, more Chuck E. Cheese. My dad said to me, he goes, he's really good. You know, he doesn't bother anybody. He just stays in his own little...
No, like I said, like, the only thing that distracted was whatever was in his hand.
Yeah.
He was bringing up to his face almost like he was trying to inhale something. That's what made me assume that he might have been
Does
trying
this
to...
and it goes like this.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
what...
all part of the stemming thing. Trust me, I have to live with it
That's
all
okay.
the time, so you
All right.
get used to it. So,
Well,
all right.
if pass it on to Mom and Dad.
Yeah, I
If
will.
you have any questions, just give me a call.
Jeff told me about a really good program because, Connor doesn't have any ID on him and he doesn't look 14.
Yeah.
So, in the future, then that way you can have like an ID. So, would you look for? You saw that on him? Oh, you don't know anything about the program.
Well, we
pay.
pay attention to, like, medical bands and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. And I'm going to talk to him. So now that we had this incident, if anything ever happens in the future, and he sees somebody, a police officer approaching, I'll tell him to say, you know, hey, you know, tell them where I'm at or something, you know, or at least talk to them. So it's all good, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of freaked out by the whole thing because, like I said, to walk up on it. I hope I was calm enough.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's why I sat down. I went, I'm just going to sit here so Connor can see me and know that everything's okay. So,
all right.
I guess I was just kind of confused, like, at one point, if he could have just let him up a little more. I mean, his hand was turning white. You know, I mean, especially because you knew that Connor knew who I was and stuff. It would have been just that part, but I don't know. I mean, you can't change what already happened, but you know, you guys' lives are at risk all the time, so I totally get it.
That's okay.
I lost one of my friends, Dave Glasser, last year, so that was really bad, and so I get it. But it's just hard when it's your own. So you guys take care and be safe, okay?
No problem. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Police declare childhood autism as reasonable suspicion for detainment, assault. Police are claiming that a 14-year-old boy with autism justifies reasonable suspicion that he is on drugs, which then justifies use of force against him. By Jack Burns, September 23, 2017. Buckeye, Arizona. Following a national outcry surrounding the violent takedown of an autistic boy by Officer David Grossman, the Buckeye Police Department is in damage control mode. In a press conference, BPD spokesperson Tamala Skaggs addressed reporters in an effort to explain to the public why Grossman confronted Connor Leibel, a 14-year-old autistic boy. Skaggs described Grossman as a drug recognition expert with the department's patrol division. As the Free Thought Project has reported, officers can attend a weekend training seminar where they learn how to escalate traffic stops under suspicion of drug use and charge more motorists with driving under the influence of drugs, even though many who are charged had no drugs in their system at all. Reporters immediately questioned how a so-called drug recognition expert could not immediately recognize that Leibel was first, a juvenile, and second, a person with special needs instead of someone who was high on drugs, as Grossman admitted he believed Leibel to be. Skaggs said she could not begin to speculate or get into his Grossman's mind, but said Leibel's behavior was suspicious enough to make contact with him, apprehend him when he pulled away, and detain him. However, Skaggs stopped short of saying Grossman took Leibel violently to the ground. Instead, she said the two both fell to the ground together. Leibel's family maintains their son was injured in the process, having the photos to prove it, and they are demanding an apology from Grossman, for the officer to undergo community service within the autism community, and additional training for the entire department. Advertisement. Read more. City erects prison camp to deal with homeless, cutting off food and water. When asked what are some of the things the Buckeye Police Department can and has learned from this, Skaggs said her officers may now be able to recognize stimming activity is a sign of autism and not drug use. Another reporter brought up the hypothetical situation that could have played out if Leibel had put his hands in his pockets and refused to remove them. What would have happened in that case? Would he have been mistaken as having been in possession of a deadly weapon, and would he have been shot by the officer? Those questions and more were asked of Skaggs, but she said she would not be able to comment on the hypotheticals. She insisted that she wanted to focus on what did happen to the young autistic boy. As TFTP reported on Tuesday, Grossman approached Leibel and asked him what he was doing. The autistic boy responded with good and that he was stimming, short for self-stimulation, the often repetitive actions, movements, and sounds many if not most autistic individuals make to calm and stimulate themselves. "I'm okay. I'm okay," Connor screamed as the man he was likely always was told by his family was there as a protector, in that moment, became his tormentor. Anyone who knows anything about working with autistic individuals knows how to spot someone who is likely autistic. There are the telltale signs of repetitive behaviors, rocking motions, awkward social interactions, and inappropriate speech responses in some. And one thing experts also know is autistic individuals get extremely agitated, anxious, and sometimes combative when they're touched. Grossman grabbed Connor as the young teenager attempted to walk away from the officer, an action which was well within his civil rights since he was not a suspect in any crime. But Grossman quickly told him not to walk away and attempted to place the boy in handcuffs after grabbing him by the arm. When Connor attempted to pull away, Grossman took him to the ground and held him there until backup arrived, all the while Connor was screaming in agony and trying to mentally make sense of everything happening to him. "Don't move, stop moving, don't you move, you understand?" Grossman told the boy as a dangerous situation could have quickly gotten out of hand. If the boy had reached back and grabbed Grossman's gun, what would have happened then? "Why are you acting like this, Connor?" he asked. "'Cause I'm okay," the boy replied. The young boy's aunt, Diane, heard all the child's screams and approached the scene. She told Grossman she was sorry if her nephew had done anything wrong but stated he had autism. "He's fighting with me," the officer said, being completely untruthful with the boy's guardian. At that moment, the officer should have removed his hands from the boy and allowed him to get to his feet. Instead, he held him down, a no with autistic individuals, for what must have been agonizing minutes until his backup arrived. "He's doing something with his hands, I don't know what that is," the officer stated. "You don't have anything, drugs, on you, do you?" he ignorantly asked again. Predictably, the Buckeye Police Department investigated the incident with Grossman and concluded no use of force occurred in dealing with the teen. But his body and the pictures of the damage to his body tell a different tale. There are bruises, scrapes, and cuts on the autistic boy's torso that were inflicted as a result of the fact that a poorly trained drug recognition expert could arguably not tell the difference between someone who is on drugs and someone who is autistic. Read more, WTF. The cops in this video have been on paid vacation for 3 years. Following the incident, which took place on June 19, the Buckeye Police Department conducted their own internal investigation and concluded Libel's autism led to suspicious behavior, which gave Officer Grossman reasonable suspicion to believe Libel was under the influence of drugs. Just like that, a young man's autism was declared to be a justified reason for his detainment and physical assault in the land of the free. They cleared the officer of all wrongdoing but added he may need to get additional training in being able to detect the difference between drug use and behavioral issues. Watch the body cam footage below.
While watching the video, I just watched it today. You see clearly an officer who encountered a subject. At the time he was patrolling the area, observed a subject that was displaying some type of behavior that he believed was a subject that may have been in the influence of an inhalant is what he thought at the time. When the video starts, you see the officer getting out of his patrol vehicle and making contact with this person who he had observed displaying these actions that he thought was under the influence. His immediate contact was asking the subject what he was doing, and almost immediately, within I think 20 seconds of the video, the juvenile at that time, not knowing he was a juvenile at the time, but the juvenile began to walk away from the officer. He had already had reasonable suspicion to stop and talk to the juvenile, detain him, find out what was going on, and that juvenile began to walk away. And unfortunately, in the video, that they both fall on the ground together. The juvenile, he screams, and then the officer is able to find out during his course of his investigation, while the subject was detained on the ground, the juvenile did have autism. After a family member had come over and expressed to that. And it was kind of, the incident was kind of played down a little bit, that everybody was able to get under control. The juvenile seemed okay. He kept telling the officer he was okay and whatnot.
So let me ask you this. Now, the officer David Grossman?
Yes, sir.
What's his training or specialty?
As of still today and at the time of that incident, he is a drug recognition expert. He is with our training department, our traffic division.
Okay, so he's recognized people under the influence of drugs. Like that.
Correct.
So now I've seen the video. People are going to watch this and think it comes down to what's reasonable. He walks up to the boy doesn't even understand him right away. He says, "What's happening?" what's going on? He says, I'm okay. And then he says, what are you doing? He says, and I don't mean to mock him, but this is how he sounds. I'm stimming. And he goes, it's a string. How does he not understand that that's juvenile? Because the boy looks young, and that maybe this isn't a drug situation. He's got to take a step back here and just maybe approach it a little different.
Yeah, and you know, I can't get in the officer's head on that particular day. It happened so fast, and as an officer, again, he observed the juvenile, what he was doing while he was just driving around, observed what his actions were, appeared as he may have been under the influence of what his actions that he saw him doing. When he did get out of the car, again, it just happened so fast, and the officer had to make that split-second decision when the subject began to walk away from him, and it happened fast after that as well. Like I said, I think 20 seconds into that video.
He doesn't really seem to walk away. He seems to turn and try to get away when he's grabbed, because maybe he's afraid. So I'm wondering why the officer decided to grab him when he showed him the string. It's just, that's tough for people to get their hands on. We get a lot of comments on this.
I understand. Again, at that time, again, I can't get in the officer's head of what was going on through his head at that time, whether he specifically knew at that split-second time that this particular person was somebody who had autism. But based on his report, he didn't know. And again, it just happened so fast. He did attempt to detain the juvenile right away as he began to walk away, because based on what he had already saw, he had reasonable suspicion to keep that person there, to figure out what exactly was going on, whether it may have been related to disabilities, or whether it been that he was involved in some type of drug activity. They didn't get a chance to get to that point before everything happened so fast.
So now in your internal investigation, which I've read in some of the reports, you guys make the point that you didn't know how old he was. I've seen a picture of the boy. He walked up to him for several feet. I don't know if there's anybody that would ever look at this boy and think that he's not 14 years old, or that he's even close to being a man.
Right.
Not even close. So I guess still, I mean, he comes up on this boy. He's a kid, and the boy is, there's really no doubt that there's probably something going on in terms of with a disability or something. He came on kind of hot, you know. Does the problem think he could have handled it better? I mean, you guys cleared him. I mean, do you think maybe it could have been handled better? Is there any sort of acknowledgement of that?
You know, I don't know if better would have been the term to use, again, because I'd be getting in the officer's head about what was going on on that time and what he thought was what he was dealing with. But we are going to learn from this and hopefully deal with these situations differently, and try and train all of our officers that this, as opposed to this, could be construed as somebody with autism.
What does it mean when someone who's a drug recognition expert who trains other officers can't distinguish this behavior? I've seen video of the boy doing this away from this, his stimming behavior. I mean, is it that just much of an emerging issue, or is it something that is not really seen often? I mean, I guess I'm trying to understand how a drug recognition expert couldn't tell the difference between what happened here and drugs.
Right. You know, and we are rapidly dealing with more and more people every day with all kinds of different disabilities who display all kinds of different reactions. And for this officer's sake, within his report and what I reviewed, he took at what he was doing as a drug recognition expert. He was displaying some type of behavior as possibly being under the influence. And when I say, you know, he had reasonable suspicion, that's what he thought was going on at that time based on his training and experience. Once he gets out of the car and goes to contact the juvenile, that's when you figure out, maybe this juvenile has autism, we need to go a different route. But that didn't get to happen on this particular time because it, again, happened so quickly. Again, when the officer was patrolling around the area and what the subject was displaying, what he was doing, it is in the report that you guys were given, but from reading it briefly, he was like smacking his hands together and like putting things like up to his mouth or his face area. The officer believed he was involved in inhaling something, involved in some type of drug activity.
So when the officer goes up, would you not be critical, but why not? Would he not look for that? Like, did he identify that inhaler? Because obviously it wasn't there, so we don't see the inhaler as he's walking up, and you're trained to kind of be very observant.
Right.
So what?
You know, that's something, you know, rapidly seeing. I mean, again, with the video that we all saw, and I've seen the whole video. I hope you guys have as well. 20 seconds is what we're dealing with here. It's an officer getting out of his car, and that's the start of his video, so it's a few minutes of drive time. He's in the car, you see the steering wheel, he's talking on the radio, and then 20 seconds him getting out, making contact with the juvenile, hey, what are you doing? And then so quickly he goes to kind of walk away. At that time, the officer had already decided this subject may be involved in drug activity. So, but unfortunately, the juvenile took it, he started to walk away, and then that's when they fell to the ground, and again, it just happened so quickly.
So if we were to look at this, if we were to look at those first 30 seconds, and we were to use this from a training perspective, would we say this is exactly what officers should do? Like everybody in this situation, handle it exactly like this officer handled it? Or would we say, here's what we need to do?
You know, I can't speculate on that. Unfortunately, this is what we're dealing with in this particular incident. We have taken the entire video from our department, and we will train officers with what happened in this incident and many other incidences involved with any type of disability, and hope to do things differently.
Hope to do things differently. So to be clear, by doing things differently, there were things that we probably wouldn't have done this way if we had a chance to do it again.
Again, no, I don't mean it that way. Again, what happened in this incident happened within 20 seconds time frame. Again, once the officer was already in his car, getting out, attempting to make contact with the juvenile. Within the whole video, you know, and we learned a lot from this video, and I think Officer Grossman, once he found out that the juvenile did have autism, again, if you watch the entire video, things were died down very quickly with the juvenile, with the officer, with the caretaker coming over, and everything.
Obviously, drug recognition expert, he knows what this, drug activity looks like, especially with inhalants, and that in this area, I think he said he's seen it before. Has he? I mean, do we know if the Town Square area, Dorado, is an area where people do inhalants out in the open?
You know him. Unfortunately, I'm not on patrol, so I don't deal with this kind of stuff as being in the office. But he does note that he has seen that in the Dorado area. If specifically, if it's inhalants or what type of drug it is, unfortunately, I don't have that. We can do that research and get that to you if need be. Okay.
Yeah, for that area. I'd love to see the calls for service in that area.
Okay, sweet.
Great. And then one thing I want to clarify for sure. We actually had a reporter check on this in the beginning of August. We just got an anonymous tip now with the information of the video that we had now. And they called your PIO office, and I don't think it was you that responded. I think it was Hoffmeister. I apologize if I got his name wrong. And our reporter took notes as she was listening, and she sent me those notes. And it says that they told us it wasn't really a story because he wouldn't show the officer what was in his hand. And so we kind of took that at face value. That's obviously not true. So the video does show him, showing him it's a string, right? I mean, it shows it, right?
You know, again, I quickly watched it today, so I can't speculate on that as well. I don't want to give you anything that I may have not seen.
Okay. The family wants a face-to-face apology from Officer Grossman. They want him to do some sort of community service with the autistic community, and they also want widespread training for the department so this never happens again, maybe among other things. What is your department's response to that? Are you going to do that?
You know, from my understanding, we just received that this morning, and Chief just received that this morning. So he has to have time to review that and on his level decide what's going to happen. But I will tell you that we will take any type of training that we can get from, again, this incident, any other incident, and learn from and better ourselves from.
What are some of the things, you said earlier that Buckeye PD was going to learn from this. What are some of the things that you guys have learned this far from watching the video and
You know, in this particular incident, again, when the officer's patrolling the area and sees this particular subject doing the things he was with his hands, and he assumed it was drug activity, recognize that that may be a sign of some type of disability, autism in this case. So I think that's the one big thing that we could take away from it.
In this situation, you keep referring to this as a quick 20-second incident. I mean, 5 seconds could mean someone's life. If this boy would have put something in his pockets, he doesn't understand. His mental capacity does not understand what a law enforcement officer is. If he puts his hand in his pocket, that officer would think that he has the justification to pull out his weapon and possibly shoot him. What is your response to that? I mean, this could have been a totally different story than him getting up and walking away.
Right. You know, you are Correct. I mean, officers in those situations make split-second decisions, and sometimes it has to do with those types of incidences. I don't want to speculate again on what could have happened in this situation. We are fortunate that that's not the case, that that's not how this incident played out. But again, you know, we can't speculate on that, but just understand that the officers out there patrolling have to make those split-second decisions. And we hope to, on top of us learning from these types of incidences, we hope that the public will again learn from our split-second decisions. Again, that video, we've released the entire video, but 20 seconds of that is what the officer had to go on his initial contact to make that decision, and it played out the way it did. Sure. I just got briefed up on that a little bit today, but that is a program that we are working on, starting here with the Buckeye Police Department. And what it is, it'll be a registry for any person with any type of disability. We encourage anybody who has disabilities of any type to come down, and we're going to put it out. You will register with the Buckeye Police Department, and basically what that means is we will have that information on that person, maybe a photo, what kind of triggers they may have and whatnot within our database. So when an officer is patrolling or they run somebody's name within our database, it'll show what their disability may be. And we've talked about maybe wearing different bracelets for autism, somebody with bipolar, and different types of disabilities that can better maybe outline to that officer making contact with those people that they may have a disability, and just to be reminded of that.
Is that a direct response to this incident?
You know, I'm not exactly sure on that. Again, that was just something brief to me today that we are going to be taking part in. I can find that answer for you if you'd like. Right.
That being said, that's the world that you live in. That's your world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So based on the fact that that is your world, if we ask you about those 21 seconds, were mistakes made in those 21 seconds?
You know, that's not for me to say. There was an internal investigation in this. The internal investigation decided that there was no type of use of force made within this incident, but that's not for me to say, but for the report to outline.
One of the things that I heard, and I'm hopefully going to be getting, is perhaps some of the extra video was obtained, I think, by the family or its attorney for public records request, and there was maybe a witness that was interviewed that said he believed the officer body slammed or took the kid down. I didn't see any reference to that in the report, so I'm going to have to check that video to see what it was on the report. But if so, why wouldn't that have been included in the reports?
You know, from everything I've read today, and I've watched the entire video start to finish, all the reports I've read to include the internal investigation, I didn't see anything referenced to that.
So you're saying the legal investigation?
It is, yes.
So a decision has to be made.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you summarize what the decision was in a sentence?
Again, just the internal investigation, I think it's available for you to have as well, the entire report. But just that no use of force was found within this incident, and we will take training from this incident and better equip our officers and just better teach them with, like I said before, the signs and reactions that somebody may be doing prior to a contact. Like I said, in this situation, the officer driving in the area, that may be a sign of somebody with autism as opposed to doing drugs.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I'd like to thank you for all your years of support through the years. As a result, this channel has grown and allowed me an equity partnership in carmarshal.com. Please take the time to check them out. They help you buy and sell your next car, even have a negotiating tool to save you from the hassle of haggling with multiple dealers. The link is in the description below. Please click and help support and give if you can too through PayPal or Patreon. Thanks again.